Hello everyone, this is my tutorial on how to automate the quintupling process in Mekanism. This is for Mekanism version 6 and up. This video is created using modpack TPPI version 0.2.3. Recipes can be found in NEI and the Thaumic. I hope you enjoy this video as well as find it informative. The first machine that does actual ore processing in the quintupling line is the chemical dissolution chamber. The chemical dissolution chamber uses sulfuric acid to change ore into ore slurry. Unfortunately for us, this machine only has one input and one output. The output being slurry and the input being sulfuric acid. Now how do we also get ore into this one? We can do that by using a transfactor interface from Thaumic Tinkerer. The transfactor interface from Thaumic Tinkerer can be found in the Thaumic under the Artifice tab after it's been researched. Now what does the transfactor interface do? The transfactor interface mimics the sides of the block that it has been bound to. I can bind this transfactor interface to any block within this 4-block radius using the transfactor binder. Note this transfer pipe. Shift right clicking this transfactor interface and shift right clicking the chemical dissolution chamber will bind those two together. As you can see, it says binding complete. And as you can see as well, the transfer pipe now connects to the transfactor interface. This is because this side corresponds with this side on the chemical dissolution chamber. As you can see, the chemical dissolution chamber is now empty. If I were to place ore into this chest, it should now be sucked up, go through this transfactor interface into the chemical dissolution chamber, like so. This is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is because the chemical dissolution chamber stores 10,000 sulfuric acid, you can in fact remove the pressurized tube or the gas tank that is filling it with sulfuric acid and instead use item transportation instead to automate it. Here I use Mekanism's logistical sorters and logistical transporters, to automate the process. Here I use transfer nodes and transfer pipes, buildcraft pipes. You see the transfactor interface, but you don't necessarily have to use them. Here I use none, no transfactor interface, together with these thermal expansion item ducts. And my favorite, Applied Energistics, using an expert bus and a transfactor interface, but I could as well place it here. And an input bus on the chemical crystallizer. Now, the chemical crystallizer creates crystals. What do we do with the crystals? The crystals go into this chemical injection chamber that uses hydrogen chloride to turn the crystals into shards. The shards then have to go into this purification chamber that uses oxygen to turn the shards into clumps. The clumps then go into the crusher to create dirty dust, that then go into the enricher to create normal dust, and lastly they go into the smeltery to smelt them into their respective ingots. As you can see, there is a ME interface on top of here, and I've told this factory to accept his input from the top and output on the right. And as you can see, these machines, red is input, blue is output. Red input, blue output. Why the interface here? Well, I can in fact create a pattern using an iron crystal and an iron ingot or any other crystal. As you can see using any of these crystals and their respective ingots, I can then encode a pattern, place it into an ME interface. There was already one here. Let's remove that one. I can then wrench it. I should then wrench it to point it downwards. There we go. Now I can ask the ME system to create ingots for me on demand as long as he has crystals. I will now tell it to create 64 ingots. As you can see, or maybe like so. As you can see, they now go down, and it is now in fact creating 128 ingots. Even though these machines have an eject button, they can only eject to an adjacent machine of the same type or to a chest. And with the same type I mean a machine from Mekanism, because as you can see, in order for item ducts, buildcraft pipes or logistical sorters to work, you still need to supply a redstone with a servo, an autarchic gate with a pulse, or put this thing on auto eject. So even though it says auto eject on, it does not auto-eject into everything. This is the tutorial. This was a tutorial on how to automate the chemical dissolution chamber and how to automate the quintupling and Mekanism. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was informative. Please feel free to leave any comments about this video or about a tutorial you'd like to see me do.